Hi everybody, welcome back to the Digital Dojo. This is Amma. I am super excited to talk to you guys about Seoul, South Korea. We came there for 5 days after visiting Japan, and it was a really interesting experience. It was definitely like our home away from home. The first thing we noticed when we got into the city of Seoul was how Americanized everything was and how very similar it felt to being back to one of the big cities in the United States. When you come here, you're gonna see really cheap makeup, really good shopping, really delicious food, and lots of hot guys. We were blown away by everything in Seoul. It was so beautiful. The only thing that really threw us off guard that was actually a little bit unfortunate was how bad the air quality was. When you're flying into the Incheon airport, the very first thing we both noticed was this thick layer of smog that was more hardcore than even the dirtiest cities in America. It was really, really brutal. So what we recommend is that when you first land into the Incheon airport, make sure you pick up a face mask along with $100 in cash, get your T-Money card, and your pocket Wi-Fi. So you want to get those face masks just because it really is hard to walk around and breathe in the air. For me, I could feel it in the back of my throat, even just walking down a couple of blocks when we were in the city, and I regretted not having one while we were getting from the airport to our hotel. So the very first thing you want to do, go to the convenience stores, pick up a mask, or bring one with you before you even get off of the plane. You will be grateful for it. The next thing you want to do is pull out at least $100 in cash. It is a cash-based country. They use credit cards more frequently than they do in Japan, but you'll definitely want to have cash on hand. The next thing that you really are going to need to navigate through this city well is a pocket Wi-Fi. This is going to be a little device that you carry around with you, and you'll be able to use it for your entire trip and bring it with you wherever you go and be able to use the internet. Another thing you're going to want to get as soon as you land is a T-Money pass, which you can buy in the Incheon airport or the Seoul station, which is the first station that you'll get to if you go by train to your hotel. The T-Money pass basically works like a pre-loaded credit card. You just fill it up with however much you want, and then you can use it at convenience stores. You can buy different cards that have different discounts, and you can use it in all of the metro stations and buses and convenience stores around Seoul. They have multiple different types of passes. This is the one that made the most sense for us because it is super easy and convenient, and we weren't going on a lot of tours. There are 3 different types of passes you can buy here: an M pass, a T-Money pass, and then a special discount for tourists. So the special discount for tourists is if you're doing lots of tours and very, very touristy things, you'll get a lot of discounts into shops and restaurants. If you are looking for the M pass, it's really good if you're traveling on more than 6 trains a day. For us, we were definitely using 6 or less, and loading our card with only $10 got us through an entire 5 days in Seoul traveling around the train systems. The train systems are very easy to navigate. That was one of the things that I noticed right away. Everything is based on a numeric system, so you look for your number and then there's a map in English and Korean before every single train stop. So you basically just have to know the name of the station that you're getting off at and then the line that you're taking to get there, and you shouldn't have any issues. Another pro tip for traveling around Korea is using Kakao Maps. So there actually is no Google Maps in Seoul, which we couldn't believe. It's actually the only country that doesn't have Google Maps. It's a little bit trickier to get around, but Kakao Maps is a great alternative. All you have to do when you're using Kakao Maps is type in where you want to go. You click the little arrow on the top right side, and then what you'll notice is that everything is still displayed in Korean, but if you click on the exit or where you're transferring, it will give you the name in English, and then you just have to go to those maps that you'll see at the front of every single train, get on your train, count your stops, and then you'll be good to go. So same thing like in Japan, you will notice that the airport is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Seoul city center. So you're gonna want to either take a taxi or a train. Taxis are the more expensive way to go. They're about $50 to $80, and they're pretty much only good if you're in a large group. Otherwise, we definitely recommend the AREX train. This is a great and really affordable non-stop train from the Incheon airport to Seoul station, which you can then take your T-Money pass and go to anywhere else in the city to get to your hotel. Very simple. It was about $9 American. Now, once you're in Seoul and you're ready to go out and explore, you are gonna find an endless list of things to do. There is everything from shopping, sightseeing, themed cafes, beautiful palaces, historical sites, and gorgeous pieces of art. The whole city is this super beautiful place decked out with all of these highly Instagrammable places. We could not believe how many people were on their phones taking photos, taking selfies. Everywhere you go in this city, it seemed to be like the Instagram capital of the world. People were all about the gram. For us, here was a couple of the places that we really enjoyed checking out while we were in Seoul. First stop was Common Ground. This is a very hipster complex that has stores, cafes, and restaurants in it, and lots of cute little knickknacks that you can pick up along the way. The entire facility is made out of shipping crates, and it's definitely a must-see stop on your way here. Super fun place to get in some shopping and pick up a bite to eat. Next, we went to some themed cafes to get some work done. I loved being in these themed cafes. They were so fun and beautiful with lots of art and delicious snacks and treats and drinks. So it was a really lovely way to spend the afternoon. The two we went to and highly recommend are Baesan and Column. Both of them are right next to each other and a short train ride away from the city center. One of the most photographed and Instagrammed places in Seoul is actually in Gangnam at the COEX Library. We went there our next day and we had a super fun time. It's such a beautiful atmosphere. It's located in a mall, and the mall has tons of things to do, including VR experiences, really good food, cafes. Get your boba, get your fashion on, whatever you want to do is in a really cool part of Gangnam. It's actually also located near the Gangnam sculpture, so you can take a pic there as well. But if you're really looking for the cheap deals and good places to get some makeup or some good fashion, you should either go to Myeongdong for the fashion and then also head over to the Hondik walking street, which is near Hondik University. And we really enjoyed walking around to these places. We saw K-pop performances on the side of the street, lots of delicious food, lots of shop, and really, really good prices for everything. And then going back into the more historical sites, we also went over to check out the two palaces, which I'm going to butcher their names, so I'm going to put them right here. There's one on the left and there's one on the right, and in between them is the Hanok Village. The Hanok Village, another very Instagrammable place. You'll see lots of people with their phones out taking photos. Very, very busy street. And what makes this place so classic for Instagram pics, most people will be wearing South Korea's traditional wear, a hanbok. Fun fact is, if you want to get into either of the palaces for free, all you have to do is rent a hanbok for the day. Hanboks, you can rent them for about $7 to $15 for 1 to 3 hours, and they'll give you free entrance into both of the palaces. Plus, you'll be decked out in some really interesting and beautiful Korean wear for the afternoon. And you don't have to feel self-conscious wearing this. Trust me, everybody is wearing it. You actually stick out a little bit more if you're dressed normally. Basically, the way that it goes is that there's one palace on the left, their village is in the middle, and then the other palace is on the right. If you only have time for one of these palaces, we definitely recommend checking out this one over here. It was so lovely and beautiful. It has a secret garden. It's a really cheap entrance fee. If you're not wearing a hanbok, it's about $6. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place to walk around and see some of the historical sites of Seoul. And what's great is that afterwards, you can walk about 20 minutes and you'll find yourself in the Iwa Mural Art Village, which is this beautiful place to see 360 degrees of Seoul and also get some more Instagrammable pics next to the walls of all of these gorgeous murals and have lots of cool photos to show your friends. So even though the people are much more Americanized in Seoul, they still have a lot of stuff about personal space. So I'm gonna teach you some words and just general things to note about Seoul and how to move around in South Korea so you come off a little bit less like a tourist. Although if you're from any Western country, you're probably gonna fit right in just because so much of their customs are so similar to ours. But like I said, one of the main things about being in Seoul is a lot of places will have you remove their shoes. Even restaurants, you'll see a lot of people who sit down on the floor before you get up onto the area where they let you sit, you have to remove your shoes. Another thing is that people don't generally like to be touched, so it's really important to use what they call as manner hands. So instead of shaking someone's hand, give them away. Don't touch anyone unless it's invited in. It's just not really an appropriate thing to do in their culture. The other thing that we noticed is that people told us to dress way more conservatively than was actually necessary. It was very classic American style. So if you are dressing decently in America, you are probably dressing decently in Seoul. However, as a woman, I like to travel a little bit more on the conservative side, so as not to offend anybody on accident. And I think that's kind of goes without saying that if you want to go into the temples, you should dress a little bit more conservatively, but other than that, you're free to pretty much dress how you would back at home. Here are 3 words that you can use to make your trip a little bit more easier. We've got hello, excuse me, and thank you. Once again, these are the common words. You definitely want to use excuse me, like I said, instead of touching someone. Hello is just a greeting, and then thank you. But it's very, very casual here. It's not at all like it was in Japan where you need to be really formal about how you go about things. It's just exactly like how you would at home. But here are 3 words to know, since a lot of people speak a little bit of English, but not a lot. And 10 points for trying, right? Or A for effort. So we've got hello, 오보세요, 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 excuse me, 실례합니다, 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 실례합니다. And last but not least is thank you. 감사합니다, 감사합니다, 감사합니다. And if you just want to say a quick thanks, 감사. Kamsa will do. So that is all for now. We are off to Thailand. We are headed to Bangkok and then Phuket. We'll be here for a full month. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Comment below for what you want to see in our next videos, or what you liked, what you didn't like. We want to know. We'll be keeping these videos coming for you, and we'll see you next time.